Well, I just wanted to make a video on how it is in the society. Well, I checked out WhatsApp. I wanted to contact somebody on WhatsApp. I had a problem with his number, and I checked on the contacts, and it says show all contacts in German, alle Kontakte zeigen, and on top of it für einen Freund bezahlen in the middle. There. Für einen Freund bezahlen. You can pay to get in touch with somebody else. So they found a market. I don't know if they actually make money out of this. But how many people would be willing to pay for a contact? I don't want to be in touch with some 60-70-year-old guy or something, or some guy from I don't know which country. Yeah. Maybe if they could guarantee me contacting between my age group and females and whatever. But I just find it weird, you know, if they actually make money with the system. And it's true that in this society you are very isolated. It's no longer like tribal in nature as it used to be during the Middle Ages, as an example, or there were the entire huge communities who all work together. And during the tribal era, also in Germany, there were clans that lived on the European lands here in Germany. In France, it was the Gaulish people. They all lived in clans, actually. This in today's society, you also are split up, actually, all post against each other. You don't trust anybody anymore, and with rising multiculturalism you also can't identify with the person. You notice a difference here, that as an example, the Dutch are very open and say good day. If they come by, as an example, they greet, you know. But if people of other countries, of other ethnic background come here, like Turks or Moroccans, they don't cook, they don't greet, or I don't know. It's just different. I don't know. The Dutch are really nice. I know if the Africans and Moroccans will get problems, but not always. So actually, what I wanted to talk about is they split it up, the society, in each and every one of you, and everybody's close against each other. There's no brotherhood. The family unit has been destroyed, actually. I also come from a patchwork family. My mother married twice and got divorced twice. My father also married twice and got divorced twice. And they are all children from each marriage. So they destroyed the family unit as another make it difficult. Patchwork families. Everybody is independent of each other because, actually one monogamous relationship where a man and woman are together as a family head is very powerful, and if they have brothers and sisters, then it becomes actually a family unit or a clan. A clan is an extension of the family unit. As you can see here, there's the divorce rate according to divorceinfo.com. This says that there was a steady rise from the 1960s to the 1990s, from 10 to nearly 25% per thousand people. Divorces per thousand people. But then, if you take this statistics, it nearly rose. Now, I personally don't know many people who have a normal family and are still married. So you have to compare this to your own. What I was talking about is the loneliness in our society, that it is practically socially engineered in this fashion. There are very few normal families left. At the same time, I don't want to say that you have to stay married together, but I know that a partnership in love works, and that this family unit can expand, and you work together more. That's why also in the Middle East, the Morulas, the Palestinian families, tend to survive so much, because they're huge families who all help each other. If you look at that message on the WhatsApp menu, many people are lonely or are singled out in society or don't match. once you get in the work life, that's why there's so much depression also in our society. That's one of the reasons why there's so much depression, as a matter of fact. It's in the Western world, people are depressed, have multiple type of psychotic episodes, or tend not have ADHD, attention deficit disorder, apparently. All these apparent mental illnesses are in our Western society, and now I know from the pharma industry that it's a fact that they want to push the new medication down on all the market. But there is also a very high numbers of depressions, psychotic people, schizophrenic people, people that will hear voices or ghosts are schizophrenic. For each and every psychotic is when you tend to overflow with thoughts, or you see things that are not there, like ghosts or something, or if you are in touch with an incubus or a succubus, then you are actually in a psychotic episode according to official psychiatric treatment. But if you look at behind it, I'm not saying that every person that has a psychotic episode is in contact with etheric entities. I don't know, but I believe that the psychiatric institutions are used to define things that actually can happen. You can be possessed, or you can be haunted by demons. At the same time, I tried looking for that book about mythological creatures, and the Treasury of Fantastic. This is not an old book, but this is at least sources that we could use to see if they're describing real ancient myths and legends of etheric entities. Yeah, like The Exorcist of Emily Rose, I believe. I just googled it, read about it. It's pretty horrific, actually. But what she says is incredible. The movie is also made, is quite well done. And but I believe you should read about the real history of Emily Rose and the real videos or real footage that was made of her. She also apparently had a psychotic episode, but for those Christian believers who believe in Jesus Christ, well, and evil, in the devil, or in the Whore of Babylon, well, these evil facets of evil, actually, who believe in this tale, actually, they see this as a possible reality from their perspective. But in our Western world, actually, or the sciences of psychiatric medicine, and psychological treatment using drugs and all that stuff is trying to classify all this as illusions, as people that made this out to be by themselves, that they created this from their own and believed to be possessed, as with Emily Rose is. Also, I believed to be in contact with etheric entities. For this psychiatric world, it's not real. It's a projection of the mind of what you would want your wife or perfect woman be, as an example, if you're visited by a succubus. So they ignore this. Now, in the entire, this is a spiritual conspiracy, actually, to make everybody believe that matter is all that there is, and that there's no soul, and there's no afterlife, and there's no other world. That is the so-called spiritual conspiracy. But you know that there were Templar Knights who practiced occultic rites, as an example, or magical rites, I believe. But in a good sense. They were in contact with etheric entities, Isais from ancient Germany, and even in Israel, I believe, or Palestine back then. Or no, in Carthago. They were in Carthago and got a message that they had to go to the region of Berlin, apparently from this mythological figure, Isais, that appeared to them in a cave. There's also a tale. And in this other world, that has souls, demons, angels, mythological entities that live on other realms, even unicorns, or I don't know. It could be that in these other dimensions, these ancient books from 200 years ago that depict these mythological beings, the people that wrote those books believed that these beings were real. And today we look down upon it and say that it's all speculation and bullshit. But what if they were talking of the other world? Not of this world, but of the finer vibratory spirit world, actually, where this would be possible. And that you can be possessed or be visited by good or negative entities, depending on what you are. And Emilorus could have been possessed by some evil spirit. But I started out actually as while there's loneliness in our society, at the same time, if you know so much, you also get you tend to avoid general contact. But of course, you can chit-chat about whatever. We are social people, and it is actually practically in our best interest, or in our psychic and our spiritual best interest, to have good contacts with people that we would like to hang out with. Yeah, well, they're destroying family units. People are more and more in line. At the end, they will have their chip and just go at home and have no contact whatsoever, only have their TV and whatever. I read Brave New World from Aldous Huxley and 1984 from George Orwell. It depicts surreal societies, and even other books depicting an entire society where everything's controlled by computers and everybody has a chip or a card. And only until the mainframe, the main computer that processes all this information, blocks out, because everything that was activated by the chip, your car, your elevator, everything that you have to use was operated by this card or a chip. It is another book, a science fiction book, but everybody only can pay with their number, Mark of the Beast, and it's only when the system failed that actually people had to help each other out of the elevator or out of the doors that didn't work anymore, or whatever. It was an interesting book. But yeah, we are being actually systematically engineered, socially engineered, to be single for life, actually, because they don't want us to have any babies, actually, at least in the Western world. That is why we have a negative birth rate. Many people don't get married, don't found families, don't become a family unit or a clan, what actually increases their social networking, because working together as a family is not just being friends, it's really working to run a family. People underestimate actually this social part of our biological behavior. It's part of our natural state to procreate and found families. Yeah, you could be monogamous, polygamous, or whatever. I don't know how it's going to be in the new age. I think partly polygamous, because there will be more women than men, according to the Quran and various other scriptures. So, yeah, that is just what I wanted to talk about, loneliness in our society, and then I drifted out on how this entire reality could be an RPG, a reality with souls, demons, angels, gods, the devil, and even the War of Babylon, according to which religion you choose. There's always two sides to this, and that it could be that we live in this mythological world, actually. Cheers.